Lack of synchronization in education policy. The government can grant permission to open schools or colleges that work for profit and not for charity. The government will receive huge tax in this way. The government can invite foreign direct investment and private direct investment in education as it will improve the standard of education in India, create new employment opportunities, and attract foreign students also. An unaided school can run smoothly if there is a proportion of 1 is to 10 between average salary and average fees. The average fees must be equal to 10% of the salary recommended by the Seventh Pay Commission. But the irony lies in the fact that government inflates minimum salary imposing pay commission recommendations but does not allow the school to hike fee accordingly. Some uncalled for statements are issued by the government representatives in order to allure the people for getting their votes. Such statements spoil the image of teachers and schools in society and breach the trust of public in them. The representatives of unaided schools must be part of the council that makes policies for unaided schools. The unaided schools must be given more privilege as the number of dropouts in government schools is increasing, whereas the number of admissions in unaided school is increasing. This shows that the government's responsibility is being shouldered by unaided schools. The government spends Rs 6,500 per month on one child in a government school but does not pay the unaided school the same amount for RTE or 134A cases. The burden of balance fee is borne by the remaining 75% students. The government should rather make payments to the parents of EWS category students directly so that they can admit their children to the school of their own choice. Following the lines of foreign countries, the government must provide financial assistance to the unaided schools for imparting education to children and employment to teachers. The political organizations receive huge donation for not doing any activity for social uplift while unaided schools are never bailed out even in the hours of crisis. This paradox is worth contemplating. The government reimburses the amount of tuition fee paid by government employees on the basis of fee certificates issued by schools. Should the government not pay back the same to non-government employees? There must be a provision in the rules that the school can repay the loan taken from the trust. Further, one school can come forward to help another school during financial crisis. The private companies must have the right to open new schools. It will not only promote the competition among unaided schools, but it will improve the standard of education. It will further lead to reduction in the school fee also. The government must open its schools in far-flung areas and at those places there that are often not feasible for unaided schools to approach. The government schools in cities can be managed under PPP. The government school or should abolish the orthodox policies of releasing textbooks through government agencies. It must frame the curriculum only. The students and teachers must feel free to arrange books or study material of their own choice that meets the demands of curriculum. The 40% children of India studied in unaided schools that are only 25% of the total number of schools. The government must understand this paradox and work accordingly. The government's plan to bring everyone on the same economic platform is superficial and lacks practicality. All human beings cannot be alike. One shall surely supersede the other, applying his wisdom and perseverance. The government refuses to accept the fee hike and continually warns against it. Will sanitization, social distancing, online teaching, working in 2 shifts, etc., not increase the financial burden on schools? An RTI writ has cleared that the per child expenses in government schools have been doubled in last 5 years, where most of modern day politicians and their children have got education is a question to be considered. When the government and the education boards receive board fees in advance and impose fine for late submission, it must not pressurize unaided schools to waive the school fee off. The one who is under BPL and possesses a genuinely issued low income certificate can only be categorized as incapable parent during this pandemic situation. The budget school means the school that charges less than what the government incurs rupees 6500 per month on the education of a child of a government school. Both the government and the unaided schools have to bear the expenditure on education, while there is a huge difference between their resources of funds. The government should make it clear that expenditure on the land of government schools, infrastructure, maintenance, salaries, education departments, Ministry of Education, and 25% EWS students is met through the tax income paid by parents. The government agencies responsible for school recognitions, affiliations, examinations, etc. should not be under political post bureaucracy. IB, IGCSE boards work independently without any control of the government agencies. As per the CBSE bylaws, the fee of a school should be as per the facilities, but this ruling is being completely defied. Though sincere implementation of this law will eliminate corruption automatically. As government pays the unaided schools for their education of EWS category students, it should pay to government schools also as per the number of students. In this way, the quality of education and the strength will improve because they will have to meet the expenses with the amount received per child.